it is easier to make a lot of money in a short period of time than it is to make little money over a long period of time.
Welcome to the channel. This morning we're going to be doing a review of a very fantastic book that I have with me here, B.O.S.S Moves, Business Optimization Success Secrets from $1 Million Roundtable by Myron Golden. We're happy to review this book with you. According to Myron Golden, the content of this book is the same as a $25,000 one-on-one coaching session which he had for 2 hours with some of his students, which is a total of $50,000. And the content of that roundtable coaching session is what he has documented in this book for you and I to read. And I think that is very fantastic. I think it is such a privilege to have this book in our hands and to have read it and to be doing the review today. It's great to be finally doing this with you. You're welcome to the channel. I'm supposed to welcome you.
I'm happy to be here.
All right, if you want to take your business to any height, the optimization secrets in this book will help you get to wherever you want to be. Whatever is next level for your business, whatever you call the big deal, the content of this book will help you achieve that. If you intend to make $1 million a day, if for you it's $100,000 a day, or even if it's Naira or any other currency of the country where you're from, the content of this book, I think it is super. I have read it once and I've listened to the audiobook about twice and I'm going to read it again. That's how beautiful it is. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Come along with us, grab your seat, and let's do this together.
One of the first points that Myron makes in the book is that it is easier to make a lot of money in a short period of time than it is to make a little money over a long period of time. There are 4 business models in the book that open my mind to how a business should be run. There are 3 business markets and there is a boss message to market market. Let's begin with the business models in the book. So from the very first business model he talked about is a entrepreneur. Now, a entrepreneur is someone that wants to be an entrepreneur, but you only know how to make low volume, low profit.
Yeah.
So that person is a entrepreneur. If we look at our society, that's how a lot of people,
a lot of businesses are being run.
a lot of businesses are being run in that manner. Then, of course, we don't want to be that. Imagine you are doing low volume. For example,
you're selling a 5,000 naira product, and let's say 3 people buy from you or 10 people buy from you, and that is roughly 50,000 naira. So low volume, low profit. And Myron Golden advises against that. So if you're a business owner and you want to optimize your business for success, you want to optimize your business to be able to take care of your family, to be able to live your dream life, Myron Golden advises against being a entrepreneur. And that is that at all costs, whatsoever you do, make sure that you're not in the low volume, low profit business. So it's a good time to go on to the entrepreneur.
Yes.
All right. Help us.
The entrepreneur business model is another business model that Myron has really helped us see and understand.
Yeah.
It's coined from the name
Sam
Walton, the founder of Walmart.
Yeah.
And what it means is that you sell very high volume of products, but you make low profits.
Yeah.
Let's say, for example, in Nigeria here, you make about 1,000. That's very low profit.
Yes.
But when the volume of sales is very high, let's say, for example, in a day you make like 1 million sales and you are making 1,000 naira from each. That's basically the entrepreneur business model.
It's basically the kind of business model that e-commerce businesses and distribution stores use. And at the end of the day, it still makes them a decent living.
Exactly.
So according to Myron Golden, the very baseline, of course, we know of millionaires who have come from doing this kind of high volume, low profit business and have still become millionaires.
Let's now go into an entrepreneur. The entrepreneur, he makes or she makes high profit but low volume. And the example he uses to explain this point is in a month, you make about 10 sales from your product or your service. Yeah. And from each sale, you make $1,000.
Yeah.
So you can imagine that's 10 sales, that's $10,000 in a month.
Yeah.
According to him, you are a real entrepreneur.
And this is, according to Myron Golden, this is the level that most entrepreneurs start from.
Yes, true entrepreneurs. Yeah. Not if you are in the entrepreneur, you are not an entrepreneur. If you are in, the entrepreneur that Sam Walton uses for Walmart is actually a good business model, but not the recommended business model in this book. In fact, to show you how powerful of a business model the entrepreneur business model is, when Sam Walton died, his wife and children, after Bill Gates took over as the #1 richest person in the world when he died, his wife and children split his wealth amongst themselves. and
And
they
they became
became the
second,
second, the
third.
third,
That's
the
right.
fourth, fifth, and sixth
That's right.
richest people in the
In the
world.
world.
So that's how wealthy Sam Walton was. So we are not, Myron is
putting
not
down,
putting down
yeah.
his business model, but there is a recommended business model
Yeah.
that we are heading to.
And that brings us to the boss business model, according to Myron Golden in this book, Boss Moves, which is the entrepreneur.
Yes. Now the entrepreneur business model, it's high profits, high volume.
Yes.
So it's a situation where you have premium offers. It's a situation where, for example, you have something that sells maybe $10,000 or $100,000.
Yeah.
That's per client or per customer,
Yeah.
and you have a very high volume
Yes.
of that. I mean, so it's entrepreneur is high profits, high volume.
Business model. And according to Myron Golden, that is how you can get your business from wherever it is now to wherever you dream to be. There are people who, through this business model that Myron Golden teaches or that Myron Golden recommends, have made $1 million a day, $1.2 million a day. Myron Golden says that this business model has made him more money in a week, more money sometimes in a day, more money sometimes in a month than he has made in a whole decade in time past in his lifetime.
Most importantly, I think there's a point that we need to emphasize there in the entrepreneur business model.
Yeah.
Now, if you are selling something worth $50,000,
Yes.
it's not just the money. The point here in the entrepreneur business model is that money is value.
Yes. Money is
money is an exchange for value.
Yeah.
So think of it like when people hear $50,000, for example, they look at it as that's a very high price. Who will pay you $50,000 for something? But that's not the point. Let's say, for example, you have $1 and I give you $10 or I give you $100 for your dollar. You just 100 times your money.
Yeah.
Or 10 times your money.
You would not mind
you won't mind giving me the dollar. You don't care how much you give me.
Yes.
So it's a situation of if someone is paying you $50,000 for a service, the entrepreneur business model, which is a premium offer, you should give the person about 10 times their
10 to
money,
100 times
20 times
value.
their money in value.
Yeah.
So it's a situation of sitting down to think of what level of value can I provide to a client that pays me $50,000, $10,000, that they get back in value a hundred times, 10 times in return. So that's what the entrepreneur business model
is all about.
It's all about.
Yeah, that is very, very fantastic. I'm happy that you brought that up because it is very, very important. Because we all have been there where you're wondering if I have a product or a service that goes for 1 million naira, mostly let's say product or an offer, right?
Yes.
If I have an offer that goes for 1 million naira, who is going to buy it? We all have had that concern at one time or the other, including me. All right, say premium offers, and you're thinking, and let's say you've read this book and you want to step out, but you're thinking, if I have an offer for 2.5 million naira, who is going to buy it? And that's why it is important to take note of what we have just described here. You need to know that in the entrepreneur business model, it is value. You give value, and that is why you need to know your customers or your clients' problems. You need to know the solution. You must have obsessed over their problems so much that you can give them solutions to the problem. You can give them so much value that it would be insignificant the amount they paid you. You should be able to paint a clear picture of your clients, your customers' desired outcome, the future that they desire. You should be able to paint a very clear picture in that and make them see that your offer is what will get them from point A to point Z.
The entrepreneur business model, it's very important to see that when you are in this business model, like Myron talks about in the book, you begin to picture the kind of clients that you want.
Yes.
And when you picture the kind of clients that you want, it eliminates certain clients from you. For example, personally, how I applied what I learned in this book was that, for example, I'm a lawyer. Now I intend to implement trust services for high net worth individuals, setting up a trust for their beneficiaries. And you discover that that's not a poor man's problem.
Yeah.
A poor man isn't thinking of setting up a trust for anybody.
Trust, of course.
So you think of the kind of client base that would be able to, that will be able to pay for that particular service. And you find yourself in that premium offer. For example, you tell a client that, look, it's going to cost you $6,000 for me to set this up for you and your beneficiaries. And because they are wealthy people, they think through that lens.
Yes.
Exactly. So
okay, so before we move forward, I want to talk about something quite important, and it's in the line of what we're talking about earlier. How that when it comes to making premium offers, a lot of upcoming business owners are still quite uncomfortable with the idea of making, of course, they like the idea of the high profits, high volume,
Yeah.
but sometimes when it comes to charging, we're still sort of uncomfortable. So, and in the book, Myron Golden talks about something that one thing that will help you get comfortable with being able to charge premium prices is when you become a premium buyer.
Yeah, that's true.
That's a very important part.
That's true.
Life does not abhor a vacuum, and you cannot give what you do not have. For you to become someone who can charge a premium price, you have to become someone who purchases at premium. So you can't be a cheap person where you're always trying to, there's some people who go to market, and if they say this thing is 100,000 naira, they are trying to buy it at 5,000 naira, regardless of whether the seller makes profit or not. So you cannot be that kind of person because, of course, in life, you cannot give what you don't have. So you buying premium begins to expand your mind.
Yeah,
It
that's
begins to open your mind to see that, oh, there is a world out there. Just yesterday, I went shopping for my son, and the amount that they were calling children's clothes, ordinarily, I would have been the kind of person who would want to negotiate, who would say, well, let's pay 20,000 naira, let's pay 25,000 naira. But I would not even mind, even if the person had said 100,000 naira, because I want to buy premium. I have become a premium buyer. And that's why charging my clients, I have no problem charging you what I think that I deserve. I have no problem charging my clients what the right value for my services, for my offer, and all that. So I just wanted to point that out. So you might be thinking at the point where I made mention of the fact that some people have that problem, you might have said to yourself, yes, I'm in that class. I just want to say that so that you know that you don't have to keep being that way. If you're scared of charging premium, know that you have not become a premium buyer. Start valuing other entrepreneurs, start buying and appreciating them. Buy for the value that they place on their product. All right. And you would see that that would ordinarily put you in a position where you feel like you have a right to charge the amount that you choose to charge for your product or your services. There's another thing I want to point out, which Myron Golden also said, that for you to learn how to charge premium, whatever amount you think is good enough for your product, just add a zero to the back. So, for instance, if you're thinking, I would like to charge 50,000 naira or $50,000, but you know that this product is worth more than that, but you're too timid, and you're thinking, who is going to buy it? Just add a zero to it. I'm just saying all of this so that you get accustomed to premium offers because it is important and it's what is going to take your business to the next level. So one more point before we move on. You need to start learning to be comfortable with big amount. You're never going to make more than the amount that you consider a lot of money. And it's in this book. Yes, Myron Golden also talks about that in this book. You need to start expanding your mind, start being comfortable with a lot of money. And when you are telling people about your price, say it with boldness. I charge 1 million naira for this service or for this offer, and don't flinch. Sometimes, yes, in your mind, it could feel uncomfortable, but the more you do it, practice it. Practice telling people that your offer goes at a premium price, and keep telling yourself that this is a small money. $1 million is a small money. $50 million is a small amount of money. Keep telling yourself that, and with time, you find that your heart is bigger. You find that you have gained more capacity, and you're able to handle the thoughts of charging premium.
Yeah.
All right.
Just finally, if somebody has a problem charging premium,
Yeah.
You should practice on wealthy people.
Yeah.
Even if you are cheated, you find yourself, you end up with millions. Let's say, for example, premium client was supposed to pay you 40 million for a service, and they end up paying you 10 million. They cheated you with 10 million.
Exactly.
So that's just my.
Well, at least your mind has still been enlarged. Yes.
Your mind has still been enlarged. So
that is a good one. All right. So I think another important aspect of this discussion will be the business market. And in the book B.O.S.S Moves, Myron Golden talks about 3 types of business market. The first is commodity market, and the second is the middle mass market, and the third is the premium market.
Yes.
So can you tell us a little bit about the commodity market and what are the downsides of being in the commodity market?
When you are in the commodity market, you are dealing in a market that the price of your product or service is set by your competitor.
Yeah.
Like in the book, he uses an example of, let's say someone sells nails for $5.
Yeah.
And you sell nails also.
Yes.
And the person reduces their nails to $3. People simply walk over to the person selling for $3.
Yeah.
So it's a race to the bottom.
Yes, and then you now slash down your price because the other person is selling.
Exactly. So it's not really a market.
Yeah.
In fact, in the book, you are strongly advised
to stay away
from that market. Strongly advised.
Yeah.
If not, you will keep on being in a situation where you are working like a slave and
and earning peanuts.
yes, earning peanuts. So it's not something that, in fact, personally, anytime I'm making an offer and I sense this is a commodity market, I step away.
Yes.
Because whatever service, people are pricing it based on other people.
Based on the market.
Yes. So it's not a market that you want to go into. It's not a market that based on the book that you should go into.
Yes.
Another issue with the commodity market is that your customers don't have a conversation with you before they buy. This also is an issue with the middle mass market, but since we are on the commodity market, it applies also. They look up the price of the commodity and they are going to your business place or ordering whatever product from you with a mindset that your product or service is a commodity.
Must fit within a certain price range.
Yes, as opposed to a premium market where you set the price, you set everything. If, for example, I'm into counseling couples in a troubled marriage, and that's like a premium market, I can value it the way I want. In fact, by the way, when Myron Golden wrote this book, his premium price for a 1-hour coaching session was $25,000. But as of today, of shooting this video, it's now $40,000. That's the distinguishing factor.
All right, so thank you for that. Of course, you know that on the commodity we have household things, basically everyday thing that comes on the commodity.
I think commodities is not really the thing. It just a service can be a commodity.
Okay,
it just depends on the way it is perceived by the customer or the client.
Yes, I agree with you on that one. So let's talk about middle mass markets, like those in the automobile
people
business,
that sell cars,
houses, fashion brands.
Fashion brands could be premium. It all depends on the way it is perceived. It depends on the way you brand your product.
Yes, you're right. But there are also some fashion brands generally in the middle mass market.
Because middle mass market, a market where, of course, all this is gotten from the book. You can get all this information in the book. It's where the cost of goods sets the price.
Yes.
So if, for example, I'm building a house or I'm into selling houses or I'm selling cars, the cost of getting that car sets the price. All I do is maybe I mark it up by like 30% or something like that. So that's what the middle mass market.
And the 30% is still not your net, because by the time you pay your staff, you do this, you pay your sales guy and all that, then you are left with, say, 15% or even sometimes 10%. And you know, sometimes that is not good enough.
So Myron Golden strongly advises against them. And when you leave the realm of theory, when you put the things that you learn in the book into practice, you begin to realize that the point of being in a premium market is that you want to make as high of a profit as possible. You are not really interested in making just 30%, 15%, 10%. No. If I'm going to go into a business, if I'm going to spend my time, my effort, my faith building that business, I want to make as high of a profit margin as possible.
Because that way you're going to be a better blessing, not just to yourself or to your family, but to your society, to the homeless around you. Because I mean, you have enough to be able to be a blessing to not just yourself, but to the world at large.
In fact, an example I will tag under this in the book, Myron Golden's book, From the Trash Man to the Cash Man, How Anyone Can Get Rich Starting from Anywhere. That particular book, he sold 150,000 copies of that book. The cost price was, I think, 75 cents. He sold the book for, I think, about $20 or thereabout. But I know he made about $3 million from selling that book. So you want to go into a business where the profit margin is very high.
All right, so I think that's a good place to get to the next, which is the premium market. Okay, Myron Golden says that when it comes to this premium market, he prefers not to say it from the angle of what he is going to profit. The premium market can also be called the high value offer market, where it's not just because of what you're going to get, but because of what your clients, your customers, your students are going to get from you.
So we talked about for premium value, it has a lot to do with not necessarily the fact that what you are charging is high. It's more of the value you are giving out. It could take you maybe a week, some days, come up with the offer for a premium market. So you come up with an offer that matches that client. In fact, after this, the next thing we're going to talk about that the book points about is the B.O.S message to market match. For example, I mentioned the issue of trust. What problem is a wealthy person going through that I can solve? What offer can I make? When I make an offer to that premium client, I have to communicate. What the person has to understand from the communication of my offer is that I have thought about their problem so much that from my offer, they see that this person has thought about my problem in detail.
And you have the solution.
And I
to
have
that
the
problem.
solution.
Yeah.
So when they hear my price, they don't see my price as being a stumbling block. They see my price as a very good deal for them, because basically they are seeing themselves getting about 10 times, 20 times
Yes.
the return.
Yes. To add to what you're saying,
Yeah.
in the book, Myron Golden mentioned that if you're making an offer and people are not taking you up on your offer, what they're indirectly saying is that they don't believe that you have the solution to their problem. They don't believe that the offer you're making to them will move them to the point that they desire to be. And what you need to do at that point is to sit down and come up with an offer that addresses the pain point of your ideal customers.
That's about it. We can move to the next point, which is the boss message to market match.
Yeah, as touching this, Myron Golden says that your message has to be so direct. You need to come up with a message that speaks to your ideal audience so much that it automatically repels people who cannot pay you. And I think I remember Myron Golden also mentions your message has to be believable. That means you communicate it with so much clarity, you communicate with so much certainty that the person who you're trying to reach out to, the audience you're trying to reach out to, automatically drawn towards you. I don't know if you have something to add to that.
Well, for the boss message to market match,
Yeah.
in the book, Myron Golden mentions that his lowest offer is $50,000. His lowest offer is not $50,000
So that
because he wants everybody.
Yeah.
He wants a certain kind of person.
Client, yeah.
So the boss message to market match, your offer is drafted in a way that it repels people that can't pay you.
Yeah.
I used an example of trust earlier. And as a lawyer, when I'm doing an offer for people that want to set up a trust
Yeah.
for their beneficiaries,
Yeah.
a poor person cannot relate to that.
Yeah.
So my message eliminates people that I do not want.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
eliminates them and focuses on the people that you are called to serve.
Thank you very much for that. Another very important aspect of this book is the levels of value.
Yes.
Myron Golden says that you're paid not according to the time or effort or intelligence that you put into an offer or into a product or service. You're paid according to the level of value that you offer. According to this book, there are 4 levels of value. On the last line of the ladder is implementation. And implementation simply refers to the person or the people who do the work. Take, for instance, when you go to a 5-star hotel, it's a big establishment. Yet, the people who do the job, the people who work the hardest, let's say room service, are the least paid in that establishment. And Myron Golden says that if you're going to move from point A to point B, if you want your business to be able to take care of you, take care of your family, and even your generations unborn, you don't want to be at the implementation level.
Yes.
Because you might be working so hard, you're going to be paid the least. Take, for instance, bricklayers, the people who carry the sand, the people who mold the blocks, they are paid the least, yet they work the hardest.
Yes.
And it's not because somebody wants to be unfair to them, it's not because somebody just wants to cheat them, but it's because of the level at which they are given value.
Exactly.
They want to use their energy, they want to use time. And Myron Golden says that the reason why we should strive not to be at the implementation stage is because you are using energy and time.
Yes, you are using your muscles.
Yes, you are attempting to use muscle and time to create wealth.
Yes.
And wealth is spiritual, money is spiritual. And if you want to attain to something spiritual, you should go through spiritual means, not physical and muscular, where you need to exert so much. And that's why you don't want to be at the implementation stage. I know most of us are already making projections, we're already making new resolutions. You want your finances to get better in whatever you do while you're planning, while you're strategizing. Make sure that you're not giving value at the implementation stage. Don't be the person doing the job, right? Because what it simply means is that you are the one who is going to work the most and you are the one who is going to be paid the least. I mean, that doesn't just make sense to me.
I think the implementation stage, a lot of us start out there.
Yeah.
A lot of us start out as the people who that do the thing.
Yeah.
But remaining at that level.
Yeah. That's where the problem
in fact,
is.
when you read this book, you really get to understand it because you are not paid based on the value you give.
Yeah.
You are paid based on the level of value.
Yeah.
So if you are at the level of implementation, let's say, for example, you want to increase your income. You see some people, they go and get more
3 jobs.
And those 3 jobs, they are also implementation.
Just going to wear you out.
So they are the ones doing the thing in this job, doing the thing in that job, doing the thing. So
with time, you're going to get frustrated. Another thing that I think is important here for you to know is that at the level of implementation, you are another person's leverage.
Yes.
Just like he said, it is okay for you to start out at the implementation stage, maybe just to give yourself a soft balance for a short period of time. but you don't want to remain there. And that brings us to
Unification.
yeah, which is the next stage
Yes.
above the implementation.
Yes.
So we have the implementation, we have the unification stage. You want to talk to us about that?
So unification, it's a level of value where you are managing the person doing the thing.
Yeah.
For example, in business establishment, you have managers.
Yes.
People that manage people doing the thing.
Yeah.
So it's another level of value.
Yeah.
You earn higher
You earn higher than the
person,
implementers.
yes, than the person doing the thing.
Yeah.
But it's not a level of value you want to stay at.
Yeah.
Because you can make way more money
Yeah.
on the next two levels of value we're going to talk about than just being the person managing the person doing the thing.
According to Myron Golden in this book, management is a more spiritual activity than doing the thing, than implementation. So, and that is why automatically, because you come higher a little on the ladder, you're of a necessity going to be paid a little more. All right. The ladder has 4 levels: the implementation, unification, communication, and imagination. But where wealth is made is the 2 tops of the ladder, and where you're just struggling to make ends meet is the last 2 levels of the ladder. And so what you should strive for if you're going to create wealth in 2026 is to be on the communication level or on the imagination level. And that's why you would see that. Say go to a filling station, or people that generally manage, say walk into a restaurant, the manager in the restaurant earns more than other staffs who say the cashier, the attendants, the security and all that. The manager would earn more. That takes me to the next level, which is communication.
Communication level. Now, wealth begins on the communication level. And it's very important to know that we are dealing with a spiritual thing here. Money is a spiritual thing. That's why the higher you go up on the levels of value, the higher money you make. Now, for communication, you have to communicate a message that moves the masses. In your business, in anything you are doing. For example, a speaker is paid more than a manager or more than someone doing the thing.
Who are doing the
exactly. People that write books. For example,
songwriters.
Exactly. For example, I mentioned that Myron Golden, his book From the Trash Man to the Cash Man, that book, at the time he wrote the book B.O.S.S Moves, had earned him $3 million. Because it's communication. He's communicating a message.
And that's why you see that someone can just release one song, just one EP, not even a full album, and boom, they become millionaires because they are communicating something. They are inspiring people. And when I was reading this, I came up with this thought that if you want to create a message, just like Myron Golden said in the book, a message that moves the masses, I think that that message must be believable. We already said that earlier on in the video. And I was thinking about it. I think that for your message to be believable, because it is when it's believable that it will move the masses. For your message to be believable, it has to inspire. It has to be relatable. People should be able to relate to it. They should see themselves in what you're saying. I think that it has to solve a problem. I think that it should be actionable. There should be steps that people can take, and then it should be measurable. So, I mean, it just came to my head. I was just thinking about it, and I think that if your message encapsulates these 5 things, it is going to move the masses. It is going to inspire people. It will be believable. I think that brings us to
imagination.
Okay.
Now, for imagination as a level of value, we can look at the CEO or the
of
person,
Apple, Steve Jobs.
Yes, or we can look at even ChatGPT, OpenAI. I think his name is Sam Altman or something. ChatGPT was an idea in his mind. Now imagine how much he has earned from that. Or Jeff Bezos that started Amazon. Amazon was an idea in his mind. Or Apple.
If you look at it, if you mention Apple Corporation, the name that comes to mind is Steve Jobs. Even though it's been dead a long time ago. Now, what you should know is that Steve Jobs was not the person who designed the Apple computer. It was Steve Wozniak who did that. Yet, very few people know Steve Wozniak. Most people can relate to Steve Jobs because he's the ideator, is the person who imagined, is the person who thought it out. And Myron Golden also says something that thinking is a more spiritual activity than speaking. And that is why it is number 1. Think without speaking, but you cannot speak without thinking. And that is why it is the highest level of value. And if you want to be paid so well in 2026, you need to ensure that you're either operating at the highest level of value, which is the imagination level, or communication. You are the person who communicates. You communicate a message that inspires the masses, whether through a song. The movies we see, they are communicating a message to us. They are communicating an emotion. They are communicating a feeling. So it's limitless. If you are a poet, you are a communicator. And it's better in 2026 that you focus on that. And that is going to pay you better than any other thing you could be doing right now. I think that basically covers the 4 levels of value. The next point we need to talk about is, I'm sure a lot of people watching and women listening to us right now want to know, how do they take a business? I mean, whether it's a business you started today or it's a business you started a decade ago and you're just struggling on the business, what are the things that will scale and grow that business exponentially?
Yes.
There are basically 4 things that every business coach or every good business student knows that you do this and your business has no choice. It will grow, and that is the primary ways to scale and grow your business. And I know that from this book, Myron Golden mentioned those 4 things: lead generation, lead conversion, customer ascension, and customer retention.
Yeah. Let's begin with lead generation.
Yeah.
Before I read the book B.O.S.S Moves, I did not have that concept in my mind.
Yeah.
For example, when you are doing a business, I didn't really see that you have to do something to attract your potential clients, the actual clients you want.
Yes.
You have to do something to attract them. Not necessarily selling to them now, but to attract their attention.
Yeah.
That's where lead generation comes into play.
Yes.
So it's a situation where you do something to call these people.
Yeah.
The way it's structured in the book, it's about growing a business. And it's like, let me say, for example, your business generates 100 leads a month, and you convert 10 of those leads, which is 10%. You have a business. Now, to grow that business, let's increase the leads you generate. So let's say you already generate 100 leads and you convert 10. So it's a situation of now maybe getting you to 200 leads.
300
Yes.
leads.
So if everything stays the same, you should have double your business.
Yeah. So for those who don't really understand what leads are basically people who might be interested in your business. They don't necessarily have to buy yet, but there is a likelihood that at one point or the other they might buy from you. Then it's those people who now become clients along the line. So basically, lead generation is just the process of generating leads for your business. It's putting your business out there, putting your business in people's faces, putting your business in an environment where it's easy for someone to purchase from you. Lead generation is very important in growing a business and ensuring that that business survives. Because if people don't know about you, they can't buy from you. In the book, Myron Golden also made mention of 2 things that are important for lead generation. Every business owner should have an opt-in funnel and or a lead capture page, and this just helps you to easily get leads, whereby people who come in contact with your business can just give you their details, and when you have an offer for them, you can easily reach out to them. Lead generation is very essential. If you look at Amazon, there is a reason why Amazon is still in existence, and that's because they have high patronage. Amazon services the whole world basically, and that's the difference between a retail store on your streets. Nobody knows about them except maybe the 30, 20, 40 people living in that vicinity. So
they are better at generating leads.
Yes. So you have to create more leads, create more awareness, let people know that you are there, and that will increase the chances of them patronizing you.
That improves the chances of conversion.
Yes.
Which is the next thing that we're going into. Of course, Myron Golden captured it in concept, not necessarily in details of how to convert more. But the concept is, when you double your business by increasing the leads that you generate,
the likelihood of higher conversion.
You have a likelihood of higher conversion because you have more leads. So basically,
more people who are being aware about your business.
So you convert more.
As it affects lead conversion, Myron Golden also emphasizes that your lead conversion is primarily determined by your sales process. Then he made reference to Russell Brunson's Expert Secrets book, where one of the essential things that Russell Brunson talks about in your sales process is having a big domino, which is the message that would help your ideal clients to believe in the offer that you are making to them. And said the big domino and 3 secrets. So basically the 3 secrets has to do with addressing 3 things. One is the primary limitation that prevents your ideal audience from believing in your offer and accepting the offer. 2 is, I believe it has to do with resolving internal limitations which your ideal audience or ideal client has as touching your offer or service or product. 3 is addressing the external limitations that those ideal audience may have. Although Myron Golden doesn't go in depth about this concept in this book, he recommends that the readers get Russell Brunson's Expert Secret, and that would explain better. So I just wanted to chip in that.
Then after that, you now get into customer ascension. Offering premium services to people who are already your clients. Clients that already use your services or your product.
Yeah.
A practical example, I have an offer for my clients. That offer takes them from pay me $1,000 for that service to $4,000. Let's say I make that offer to some of my clients and about 10% of my clients take
Yeah.
that offer.
Of your total.
That's a way to grow my business
Yes.
by customer ascension.
Ascension. Yeah, that is very
Yeah.
correct. I think it's a safe place for us to go into the last one, which is customer retention.
Yeah.
Basically, the whole idea that Myron Golden was trying to communicate in customer retention is creating continuity offer. Continuity offers are basically offers or services that you provide that makes people pay you, say, weekly, monthly, quarterly, and the like.
The perfect example is you can maybe if you use Starlink Wi-Fi,
Yeah.
use DSTV.
Yeah,
You have
exactly.
monthly subscriptions you pay to
Yes.
these
And like our
services.
service providers, MTN, Glow, sometimes we pay them daily, sometimes we pay them weekly, we pay them monthly. So that's a continuity offer.
Yes, it's a cycle of continuation. So that's
Yeah.
customer
Yeah.
retention.
Customer retention. Yeah. Basically, it's an offer that gives your customer a reason to continue with you.
So the next point now is speed learning.
Yes, that's very important.
For speed learning basically gives the concept of how to learn. It gives the concept that learning about a thing
Yeah.
or knowing about a thing
Yeah.
is not the same as knowing how to do a thing. All of us went through the traditional educational system,
Yeah.
and we begin to see that the traditional educational system educated us to know about things,
Yeah.
not really
Know how to do the thing.
exactly knowing how to do the thing.
Yeah.
If, for example, I'm learning to drive a car,
Yeah.
and I follow someone every day,
Yeah.
and I never really get behind the wheels myself,
Yeah.
I just know about
it. Yes.
how to drive a car.
Yes.
I do not actually know how to drive a car.
So for me, it is very important that Myron Golden included this section in the book because for entrepreneurs, there are usually a lot of things to learn, particularly when you're just starting out.
Yeah.
Even when you have been in business for a long time, there's always something new, a new concept, something new that can advance your business, just like AI.
Yeah.
As easy as it is, we have to intentionally learn it. And so I love the fact that Myron Golden included this part in the book because it just gives you a leverage. It gives you the right perspective towards learning. Another thing that is important here is that for us entrepreneurs, there are so many things that you need to learn in the world of business. And sometimes it could be overwhelming. Sometimes it could be scary. Sometimes there are conflicting thoughts. Can I do this? Can I not do it? And I think that it is just awesome that Myron Golden has included this speed learning part in this book just to help you know that you can learn anything and provided that you do it the right way. In this book, Myron Golden was saying that learning starts with ignorance, and ignorance is simply the absence of truth. Then next, knowledge, which is accumulation of truth. Then understanding, which is the assimilation of truth. Then before wisdom. Wisdom here, according to what Myron Golden says, is the implementation of truth. Usually, we were taught that learning equals to knowledge, but in this book, Myron Golden helps us to understand that learning equals to wisdom. According to Myron Golden in this book, knowledge is simply the accumulation of truth. And that does not equate knowing how to do the thing. Until you start implementing,
You don't really know.
You don't really know it. And I think that is very important that Myron Golden stressed that in this book, that learning is implementing.
And he also mentioned that when you are learning a thing, for example, if you are learning business, there are certain aspects of business. There is sales, there is marketing. We talked about lead generation, all these things. You have to take it step by step. Ensure that you take each step, learn each step to mastery and actually know how to do the thing. Meaning you should practice the thing. And one thing that leads to being overwhelmed in the mind is when instead of thinking of you learning step by step, not necessarily step by step, but each thing you have to learn to mastery. You are thinking of just jumping from.
You're just thinking, you're seeing the whole picture instead of the
Exactly.
immediate
It's
thing.
it's like you going from being who you are, you don't have a business, to being in Musk. You see, that's a very huge gap. There are things to learn in between, which you have to learn each level to mastery and actually know how to do each thing.
Yes. To buttress his point, Myron Golden uses this analogy of business is like trying to enter into this gigantic building. And let's say a 22-story building, and you come in through the elevator. You are a novice in the business world. So you come into the elevator, it's looking straight, okay, where do I go? This is your first time in the building. You don't even know where you're going to. After maneuvering, you press a button. Later, you find yourself on the first floor. That can be equated to sales. Myron Golden says that for learning to be effective, you have to master every phase of that building. Go through the first floor before you go through the second floor. Learn sales to mastery before you top it up with learning marketing.
Exactly.
Learn marketing to mastery before you top it up with, say, other concepts in business, or maybe your accounting, finances, and all that. And I think that's very important. I also love the fact that he brought in 4 stages in learning: the unconscious incompetent, the conscious incompetent, the conscious competent, and the unconscious competent. And Myron Golden advises that until you can do something competently, even unconsciously, you have not mastered it. Until whatever you're doing, any business process you need to go through is as easy as tying your shoelace.
Yeah.
Another thought process that really stood out for me, Myron Golden said that nothing is really hard when you know how to do it.
It's just hard for people that don't know how to do it.
Exactly. Everything looks hard when you don't know how to do it. And I mean, imagine if I give you my MacBook for the first time, you don't know what to do about it. I mean, assuming you have never seen a computer before, it just looks like jargon. But by the time you understand what to do, how to unlock, how to open the different applications, it looks like child's play.
I think the perfect example I like to use is when I started driving.
Yeah.
When I'm driving, I'm not conscious of my competency in driving because I know how to drive.
Yeah.
So I can drive unconsciously.
Yeah.
But when I started out, I was so conscious of the fact that I'm driving. So that's a perfect example. So you get to the level in business where you are an unconscious, competent person in business because
you're working on autopilot.
Yes, because now you have mastered each level to mastery. I mean, if you really want to learn how to learn a thing, to actually do the thing, the book is something that will really teach you that.
Yes, it is a very vital book. And one more thing that I think we should talk about, it is very important, and it's also in this book, is Myron Golden talked about business fortress, the fortress that you need for every successful business, and that is the leverage, lifestyle, and legacy. Can you talk to us about that?
So I see that as the 3 most important things in business.
Yeah.
The most important thing is actually legacy, but you don't start with legacy.
Yeah.
You start with leverage.
Yeah.
Then lifestyle, then legacy.
Yeah.
Starting with leverage.
Yeah.
Leverage is, I would prefer to explain it practically. Let's say, for example, you are just starting a business today.
Yeah.
We have AI.
Yes.
We have social media.
Yeah.
These things are leverage.
Yeah.
For example, I'm a lawyer.
Yeah.
When doing a lot of work in the office, I use AI. AI is a leverage.
Yeah.
I use social media to generate leads for my business.
Yeah.
These are leveraged options that you can use.
Yeah.
You can also leverage on other people's time.
Yeah.
You can get other people to work for you. That's the sort of leverage. So the very first thing when you are starting a business is to focus on leverage. Don't think of how to grow your business without leverage.
Yeah.
You are going to end up nowhere.
And Myron Golden said that if you don't use leverage, you are going to be used as leverage.
You'll be used as leverage.
And this also brings me to just to explain what leverage is. Leverage is simply any mechanism that you use to improve your output that doesn't now require any additional input from you. You know, so basically that's what leverage is. It could be money from the bank. It could be, just like you have explained, it could be social media, it could be AI that makes your output bigger.
I think doing a business without leverage in our generation,
in this age and time,
is you are kind of going nowhere.
You're going nowhere, yeah. AI is a good leverage.
As a lawyer, there are other lawyers that don't use AI.
Yeah.
And to me, they can't compete with my level of output because I can a work that would take them 2 weeks, a month to do, I can finish it in a day.
Yeah.
Because I'm using AI. I can get clients anywhere in the country to social media by content creation, running paid ads. These are leverage options available to you for your business in our world today.
That is very good, and it is very important. So I think that briefly I will talk about lifestyle. And in this book, Myron Golden was saying that one of the important aspects of business is your lifestyle. And it's basically what it means by that is you having fun, that when you are making money, also ensure that you are relaxing, you're enjoying, you're going on vacations. Don't just be all about, I'm making money, I'm working hard, and you're not giving time to do the things that you really enjoy, the things that really mean a lot to you. And there was something Myron Golden said that it's not the years of experience you have doing a thing that matters. It is the length of the experience you put into those years. That is what matters. And what it means is, what experience are you filling your years with, your days with, your months with? Can you look back and remember the time where you went on one beautiful vacation with your family and everyone was happy about it? Those are good experiences that we should feel into our years, and they are priorities because they push you. I mean, when you have relaxed, you have enjoyed yourself. When you come back to work, you are motivated.
Exactly. The lifestyle motivates you to make more.
Exactly. You can do it with all of your heart, with all of your focus, because you know that it is this business that sponsors that lifestyle. You know, you've heard of parents or maybe fathers sometimes that their children don't even see them.
Yeah.
Their children barely have conversations with them. Why? Because they are out there. They think they are making money at the expense of the experience they have with their family. And Myron Golden was saying that is very, very important. In business, we must prioritize leverage and then lifestyle. And then number 3 is legacy. I will let you start on that.
So legacy, it's very important that your business is transgenerational.
Yeah.
It's very important that the next generation, they benefit from the fact that you have been there in that business. You have used leverage, you have given your family the lifestyle that they deserve, and then legacy.
Yeah.
It is the most important thing. It is not the first thing you start with, but it is the most important thing. So it is important that your beneficiaries, they are being trained to come in.
Yeah.
For example, in Myron Golden's business, his wife is a partner, his daughter is a partner, his son is a partner, his son-in-law is a partner, his granddaughter is a partner. That is the importance of a family business. That it's for legacy.
That way the wealth in the business is transferable even to grandchildren unborn. And I think that is very, very important.
The Rockefeller family is a typical example of this. They have passed on
wealth, even to the 6th generation.
Exactly. Even to the 6th generation, they have passed on their wealth. So it's something that in business, if you are doing a business, for example, you hear in Nigeria of wealthy people, their children are not interested in the business. That is because they were never trained. I mean, I once saw a show that Myron Golden did with a man, and he lives with his family members, grandchildren, they all live, because when you start up something in that family, you just become a branch of the business. And they do millions of dollars. When I heard it, I was like, wow, this is really... So legacy is a very important part of business. In fact, that's why you choose a business over giving your years to a job. You cannot hand over a job to your beneficiaries.
If you do that, you're making them inherit a rat race.
In fact, you can't do it. You can't hand over a job to anybody.
True.
So in a way, your beneficiaries start from scratch after
it's just the
your
struggle,
years of
just
toiling.
the mindset. Because when you do a job, let's say you leave the scene, and then they will now go and start from scratch, go and get a job, go and start the rat race, spend all their years on that. Then they leave the scene. Their children will also come, and that's why that cycle has to be broken through business and entrepreneurship, and ensuring that you're laying the foundation for your generation unborn. This has been such a beautiful conversation. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and just talking about it with you has just brought back so many things and further helped me to even internalize the things that I learned when I was reading the book. And once again, we just reviewed the book B.O.S.S Business Optimization Success Secrets Boss Moves by Myron Golden. I also know that the audiobook is available. You find the link to whether the book or the audiobook in the description. Just by a click of the button, you can lay your hands on the book.
When you are ordering the book, what I did, I ordered the book, or we paid for the audiobook and shipping. But the audiobook gives you that immediate access when you are driving.
You're right.
So it's good to have the hard copy and the audiobook. Just have it in mind that everything costs, if you are going for the audiobook also, because you can purchase just the book. But if you are going for the audiobook, the book, everything costs about $90.
Yes.
And if you are unwilling to pay $90 for this whole book, I mean...
And we'll ask you, are you training to be a premium buyer?
Are you training to have premium products and all that?
So the best form of investment is the investment that you do in yourself.
Exactly.
And having the hard copy, I mean, we have the audiobook, but just because we wanted our children to read this book, we decided to get the hard copy also, and it's everything is roughly about $90.
Exactly. Myron Golden charges $40,000 to talk to him for an hour. So you can pay $20 to have access to
get the knowledge.
His knowledge. I mean, that's a bargain for me.
Exactly. So, I think it's such a blessing. It is so kind of Myron Golden to make this book available to us. It is so, so kind of him. And yes, talking about getting the audiobook, if you would like to get the audiobook and the hard copy, I think it is a fantastic idea because I've learned in recent times that listening to a book and at the same time reading the hard copy helps you accelerate assimilation because you are using more than one organ to learn at the same time. So that might be a good thing to consider. Like I said, the link will be in our description box. And if you have further questions, you can reach out to us. We'd like to know what you think about this review. We'd like to know what you think about the book in the comment section. Leave us a comment, leave your questions, and we will get back to you. On this channel, we're going to be reviewing many, many books, many, many good business books, good finance books that you'll be happy that you joined in. So subscribe to this channel, join the family, and let's grow our businesses and our finances together. Till we come your way again, have a wonderful day. See you.